Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, we are continuing our look at Royal Rumble matches for the Royal Rumble season, and man, it's crazy to think the Royal Rumble is literally right around the corner, or we have gone from months away to weeks away to now just days away. And I figured at we'd also look at another really good Royal Rumble match as the leader of the C Nation, Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect himself is back at it again, and this time taking on one of his maybe not necessarily best but most destructive foes. So how will Mr. Cena overcome this one? Let's find out. I'm, of course, talking about John Cena versus Umaga at the Royal Rumble 2007. So, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I definitely had a really, really good time watching this match. Without further ado, let's get right into it. If you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm gonna be I'm going to be talking about what I liked and what I disliked about the match. So starting with what I liked. For starters, it is a last man standing match, so it has that going for it. Not your traditional, everyday match is a last man standing match. Now, admittedly, last man standing matches is at least in terms of WWE are are oftentimes hit or miss. Like, hey, sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not. But thankfully, this one I think was really solid. Called one of the best matches for either guy, either John Cena or Umaga, throughout out their career. There's a lot of people citing this as one of the better matches when it comes to, especially to Umaga. But yeah, so they put on a really solid match, and I think one of the reasons that is because this match had, if nothing else, definitely played to both these guys' strengths, which for John Cena is his strength. And so Cena, not quite at Super Cena territory just yet, but we're definitely on the fast track to it. So Cena, at this point, hey, kind of some people are starting to get kind of sick of him. There is even a Cena sucks chant in the match, but Cena still he'll pretty much him against the world essentially. He not quite the world conqueror just yet, but you can tell they're kind of setting him up for that. Meanwhile, Umaga, of course, the Samoan Bulldozer, are very destructive, very powerful, and they definitely used that as a story throughout the match, and that story being how exactly can John Cena keep Umaga down. This has been a feud going for months now. How and but how can Umaga be kept down? How can the Samoan Bulldozer be stopped? Can he be stopped? Is the story throughout the match, and how and even will Cena be the one to do it? Spoiler: yes, he is because he walks out victorious here with the WWE Championship. Yes, the WWE Championship is on the line, yeah. So Cena and Umaga definitely going toe to toe, really bring each other to task. And we see Cena's efforts to keep the big man down, including launching the steel steps out of the ring while Umaga is knocked out of the ring, and Cena sidestepping Umaga on a couple occasions, including not just as Umaga's going for the hip attack in the corner or with the steel steps. It's Armando Estrada who is outside. One of a lot of people's favorite managers in WWE history, but he has the steps. Umaga is about to go for about to go for the hip attack. Cena moves out the way, and then the other time, as Umaga has got Cena set up, running across the other announce tables. They have the Raw, ECW, and SmackDown announce table. Well, yes, this is after the ECW revival, and before WWE totally stopped caring about ECW. So they get their own announce table here, yay! But nevertheless, Umaga running across those. Was trying to splash on Cena, so running across and then leaping on to Cena, but Cena does move out the way, so Umaga goes crashing through the table. And props to the table for holding up Umaga. Like, it seemed like it should, and maybe it was meant to, because Umaga is on the bigger side, of course. But to see it collapse sometimes under less weight than that, so being able to see Umaga, being seeing the table essentially hold Umaga, I think is impressive. But he misses there, and then still going back and forth. Cena even busted open at a point in the match, so Cena. Has Umaga up, is gonna nail the FU, now known as the Attitude Adjustment, but back then it was known as the FU. And accidentally falls into the steel steps because the steel steps are there. So actually falls to the steel steps, and then Cena's busted open. And not quite sure if it was a blade job or if it was like Cena's head hitting the steel steps. I'm probably gonna go with the latter, especially with the way the blood trickles down. Like you can definitely tell it's a blade job. It does look kind of gross though, but it does add, if anything, it does add to the intensity of the match. It's not as gross as say Eddie Guerrero at No Mercy 2004, but it is still present. And so Cena's busted open there, and how it ends off. Now Cena does finally put the big man down. Is nails the FU, and then he takes the turnbuckle. So the turnbuckle, and not even just the turnbuckle pad, but the whole turnbuckle was taken off by Armando Estrada. He had like a wrench thing and was like wrenching at it until it came off, and Umaga was going to use it as a weapon, but Cena countered, nailed the FU, and then nailed Umaga with the detached turnbuckle. And props also because Armando Estrada wasn't egregious with his interference to where it got annoying, but he was there and he was present. I think that it does work. Like, hey, obviously the manager is there, but a lot of it did fall on Umaga, which is good. I think they went about that the right way. But yeah, so Cena nails the FU on Umaga, nails him with the turnbuckle, and then wraps the top rope around. It was the top turnbuckle, so the rope and everything came with it, and the whole thing got yoinked from the post. Cena takes the rope and then chokes out Umaga with it. And he actually does it twice. The first time Umaga starts to stir and actually get back up. So Cena plops him right back down and wraps the thing around him again. And how is that 2 matches we reviewed at the Royal Rumble this month alone for these Royal Rumble reviews that involves somebody choking somebody out? For the other one, go check out my review of JBL versus Chris Jericho at Royal Rumble 2008, which was the year after this. Wow. 2 years in a row, WWE. Wow. But nevertheless, Umaga is choked out for the second time and stays down for the 10 count, and that's how Cena win. And so the physicality, the brutality, and the story being told, Cena overcoming the much larger Umaga, not just having to rely solely on his strength. And I think that also is what makes for a interesting match, is Cena not having to rely solely on his strength, but also it's about him having to really work around the big man and to be able to take him down. Cena's not a small man by any means, obviously, especially at this time, he's swole, but Umaga is much bigger, but Cena able to topple the big man and put him down and keep him down. And the ways on that, having to rely on not just his strength alone, but also his wits. It's why I say it's heading towards Super Cena territory, but not fully in there just yet. And so I think that is what really draws people to this match. It's not your typical Super Cena match. There are Super Cena elements and within the match, as I've mentioned. But not just as another Super Cena match, and definitely, thankfully, not a burial of Umaga, because Umaga does still look strong to the point where Cena has to throw so much at him to keep him down, including choking him out not once but twice. So I think that does protect Umaga in a way. It also makes Cena look good. So WWE is essentially able to have it both ways. It's where Cena looks strong, Umaga looks strong in defeat, which is definitely what you want. You don't want one to totally dominate fully over the other, but they definitely do get the point across, which is nice. Which is definitely really good. But in terms of what I didn't quite like as much toward the beginning, a bit too punch heavy from Cena and Umaga, especially as they're brawling on the outside. But otherwise, I still a really solid match. I do recommend checking it out. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn up notifications so you know every time I upload a video, I should say, so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on the match and my review. Did you like the match? Did you like my review of the match? And don't worry, Umaga fans, because Solo Sikoa would get his revenge sometime later on John Cena for Umaga's defeat here. Cena, it's funny because Cena did avoid the Samoan spike. Umaga went for it. Cena grabbed his hand. Maybe Cena should have did that against Solo. Maybe he would have won back at Crown Jewel. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.